Pineapple hair, don't care. Actually, quarantine hair, do care. Happy Tuesday, everyone. Yes, a J-ROYL video on a Tuesday. That's weird. I felt inspired by my new hairdo. Thank you, Leslie. What's in the box? What's in the box?
What's in the box?
It's Parfums Vintage. So not only is this a Parfums Vintage shipment that I got, I received one of the newer Aventus clones they make called Emperor Maximus and Emperor Maximus X Straight. I was very excited to try it. I'm wearing the regular one today as my scent of the day, and I gotta say, it's pretty damn good. Another quick thing I want to mention is they actually sent me a little bit of hand sanitizer, some Parfums Vintage hand sanitizer, and this is really hard to come by nowadays, so I really appreciate the free gift. So in celebration of getting some more Parfums Vintage fragrances, I wore some yellow. I got some kind of yellowy orange in the background. I wanted to talk about all the Aventus clones, more specifically by Parfums Vintage. Even as just a person, a YouTuber, a consumer of fragrances, I am quite confused with all the different versions of Pineapple Vintage. And I'm sure some of you are as well. So this video is all about breaking down why there's so many. Do you need them all? Do you need more than one? So initially, Parfums Vintage released Pineapple Vintage and Pineapple Vintage Noir. Those were the two fragrances that I tried first, and they were marketed as Aventus clones, one being on the fruitier side, one being on the smokier side. So right off the bat, their MO was, yeah, we know we're trying to be Aventus. This is a pineapple, musky, smoky fragrance, but more specifically, it gives you two different sides of Aventus. And if you don't know the culture behind Aventus, there are a lot of variations from bottle to bottle, aka batch hype. Each batch seems to have a different smell, and it's this inconsistency that really ticks a lot of people off out there. So Parfums Vintage recognized these variances and decided, why don't we make an entire line dedicated to different variations of the same fragrance? Yes, it's a clone house, through and through. Their fragrances directly inspired by other fragrances. Whether you agree with the politics of that, I'll leave that to you. But I more so want to get to the bottom of why there are so many different Pineapple Vintage-esque fragrances. The more I tested all these variants and all these different Parfums Vintage fragrances, the more I started to realize they're not different fragrances, really. They're not even really flankers. The differences between King and King Intense and Emperor Maximus and Emperor Colossus are the same difference you might find in a 2012 bottle of Aventus versus a 2019 bottle of Aventus. You see what I mean? Big fans of Creed Aventus will tell you it's one fragrance with many different personalities. The problem is it's not quite clear which one you're getting because it just seems like a free-for-all in the Creed factory. I even reached out to Parfums Vintage because they did send me this stuff for free. And I was like, hey guys, I like your stuff. Pineapple Vintage Noir, one of my favorite fragrances to wear. X-Batch I like. Emperor was really great. But why are there so many? Why is it so muddled? There just seems to be too many versions. Their response was, hey, there's so many versions of Aventus too. We're at least trying to differentiate each of our different batches and label them appropriately. So if you do want something with a touch more of a musk or a vanilla or a pineapple or woods, you know exactly which one to get. And they even linked me to this graphic on their website, which I had no idea existed. It's a chart, and this chart just shows you the different levels of notes and, you know, how sweet it is versus how smoky it is. And it just shows you visually what you should be looking for based on your preference. So some people might say, oh, it's a cash grab. Well, in a way, it kind of is, right? It's business. It straight up is. So yeah, the more products they release, the more hype and intrigue they're going to build, which is neither here nor there to me. What I can appreciate is the level of customization you can have by picking the right one for you. And that's going to be the main point of this video. To my nose, it is priced appropriately because it smells better than the really cheap stuff, but not quite as good as the real stuff. But it's gonna be half the price of the real stuff. So to me, the value is pretty good. It may not be to you, and I totally get that. You can justify it either way. This one that I've been wearing today, Emperor Maximus, it seems to be pretty close to my personal bottle of Aventus, which is from 2015, even more so than the original Emperor. There's also Emperor Colossus. There's just so many, which isn't in that graphic that I showed you earlier, but allegedly it's the smokier version, but with added sweetness. So it's a little more intensified in both sides of the spectrum, but I'm just happy with this one. And here's my main point of the video. Yes! Even though there's 10 to 15 different variants of Pineapple Vintage that you can get, whether you're going into X-Batch territory or Vanilla Intense territory, I don't encourage you to collect them all. I don't. I think they all smell good. I mean, Beyond Noir is a little bit out there for me. King Intense, I wasn't crazy about either, but there is a ton of redundancy in this line. Just pick 1, 2, maybe 3 tops that reflect your own personal tastes. If you lean towards more of the fresher, fruitier stuff, then go up the list and pick some of those. If you like darker stuff, go down the list. If you like a balance, like myself, then Emperor Maximus Extrait even. Just sort of pick a few. The way you should look at these Pineapple Vintage fragrances is the same way you look at Aventus. Think of them as Aventus batches. If you're the type of person that just needs Aventus, get the one bottle. But if you like those small differences from fragrance to fragrance, and you're the type of person that would appreciate having 3 different batches of Aventus, then get more of these ones. The smell is great, and it is a little fun to change it up, but not to the point where you need to get every single version of it. There are still a few that I haven't gotten to try, but based on the ones that I have, I think I can come to this conclusion. Now, these guys haven't paid me anything. They did give me these fragrances for free. They weren't even that nice to me on the email, so I don't know if we have a great professional working relationship, but that doesn't really matter to me as much. All I care about is the fragrances themselves. Also, Parfums Vintage sometimes gets bad raps for not being good at customer service. I unfortunately can't really share that experience because I haven't really been a customer for several years. Back in the day when I got their older fragrances where I was a paying customer, I got it within about a week and a half, so that was satisfactory to me, but I've heard that the customer service has gotten worse over time. The thing is, in a time of crisis where we're all in quarantine and we're all taking care of each other, they're giving away free hand sanitizer. That's liquid gold. So I think that's a really cool thing to do on their part. So whether it's just a publicity stunt to make their customer service seem better than it actually is, I don't even care. The fact that they're doing it and not even charging for it is pretty cool. So I guess to wrap this video up, I'll just go through the 5 fragrances that I do now have. And if you're interested in me wearing it for a week, or at least giving a live first impression on camera, let me know. I have tried the 2 pineapple ones already, so I'll have to do a scent of the week video for those. Emperor Maximus Extrait, which of course are Aventus colognes. We got Sublime Leather, Obsession Interdite, and we got Queer de Queer. So yeah, guys, Parfums Vintage, I like the smell of a lot of their stuff. Maybe not the best buy for a lot of you, but try them out, sample them, and then if you really like them, just get the ones that really resonate with you. Anyways, I'll see you on the next video, and hope you like my hair, 'cause I love it.